Hey everyone. Today we're going to be talking about a trilogy of films that I feel like would work as good as an example of when lightning doesn't strike. I don't know. It's kind of hard to think else about what big cultural impact this trilogy has. That's just kind of what I'm saying. This is a trilogy that seems awesome, but never really left the ginormous impact in the film industry like it could have, in a way. I feel like this is just one of those trilogies that, in an alternate universe, would have been known as one of the most big, exciting box office trilogies ever. Not in the sense that it's one of the best movie franchises of all time objectively, but as in it's one of the most popular of our time. It's a very popular, beloved trilogy of movies that stood the test of time and is just so beloved and well known. Well, that's not the case. This is a trilogy of movies that some people love, other people have mixed feelings for, and just go on and off. What am I like? Well, I kind of have different opinions with different movies, so that's just kind of what I go with. This is about the movie called Now You See Me. From 2013, this heist crime film starring Jesse Eisenberg and a couple of other actors is honestly pretty damn awesome in my opinion. I love it. I think the movie's actually pretty amazing. I just love those movies that focus on bad guys in a way, and I like how they kind of go with a new scenario. It's kind of like Ocean's 11, except our focus instead of being on stupid criminals, it's focused on intelligent illusionist criminals, sort of in a sense. It's like one of those crime stories that focuses on our main team having special skills. They're the Reservoir Dogs, except they have more skills involved in their acts. They're prepared in a way. They're not always struggling to come up with plans. No, they got their plans. That's what it is. And I think it's pretty great to watch. They had a sequel, Now You See Me 2, from 2016. I did not think it was as good as the first one, but honestly, I still really liked it. I still did think it did keep the same nice charm and still was able to tell a nice, cohesive enough story. Even if the story didn't work as well, I could still sit through it and say this movie is good. And now we're on to the finale of this trilogy, a film that took freaking 9 years to come out. It was a 3 year apart from Now You See Me 1 and 2, and the third one would it came out a whole 9 years later. And it's crazy because this isn't one of those cases where we knew that this worked fine as a duology. No, we all were expecting there to be a third Now You See Me film at some point. But we didn't get it until now. Now all our actors, okay, maybe they're not that old, but still there's a lot that people need to remember with those two movies. But at the same time, it works because, like I said, this wasn't one of those biggest cinematic impact movie franchises out there. So I feel like they got away with it fine since not many people cared about how long it's been. It's just fans of the movies are like, oh, cool, I can't wait to see this. Since there hasn't been too much of a big fan base with the franchise, I guess they didn't have to worry about people complaining about the long wait. Still, I definitely knew that a third movie should have not taken this long to come out, but it did. And maybe that's not the problem. Maybe I just need to look at this movie for how it is as a third film. Does it wrap up the trilogy? Does it make Now You See Me a trilogy of movies that honestly deserves to be acknowledged a lot compared to other trilogies nowadays? Not many. I mean, I'm not saying let's compare this to Lord of the Rings. I'm just saying, is this a great trilogy overall? Are these movies worth everyone watching? Let me talk about this film. Now, the story of this installment does take a new kind of approach. We open with our main crew, the Four Horsemen, as they call them now. Well, I know that's a name they've always had, but this movie acknowledges it a lot. They are doing an act where they do what they do best and pull off dangerous schemes where all the audience gets to keep some of the savings that they've stolen. Only this movie literally acknowledges that they get it through crypto. Yeah, crypto is literally acknowledged in this movie. I hate those movies that acknowledge all the new terms and new things. I know there are new things out there that have to occur, but I don't think that should be the case. But anyway, yes, they do that. But when the police show up, it turns out it's revealed that this whole thing was an illusion act, whereas they weren't even there at all. And this becomes a big discovery for this new kind of trio of Gen Z kids. Yes, we have these teenagers who are fans of the crew, apparently. And they meet Jesse Eisenberg, the leader of this team, who says that he's not really with the team anymore. And so much so they're like, oh, but we love you guys. You guys pull off awesome heists. And he's like, oh, okay, well, I'm still cool. And they're like, okay, well, how can we know you're still cool? And they're like, oh, there's this cool diamond we could steal. So they go to Belgium to find a diamond to steal. They do it in their illusion acts. They meet this huge rich type of business that apparently owns the diamond. Apparently, they find out that this rich corporation is messed up, bad, evil, whatever. They don't like it. They don't deserve the diamond or something. So they steal it with motive, I guess. But before they get caught, apparently they have to fight their way out. And lo and behold, it seems the rest of the crew show up. Woody Harrelson, Elsa Fisher, and Dave Franco. That's what the other three are. They show up to help fight. They escape showing off more illusion acts to fool them. And then they have the diamond. Sort of. What do they do next? Well, they go to Morgan Freeman. Yes, Morgan Freeman was in these movies. We always talk about how much of a profound actor he is, but one thing we don't realize is that nowadays he's just put in anything. There are so many movies out there he can show up in. He's not one of those actors that will make a movie more impactful when he's in it. Because even if he's in some of the greatest kind of films, and he seems like the greatest kind of actor, he's still going to get cast in a lot of dumb projects. That still can be the case. But anyway, yeah, he's still there. He explains to them that apparently this business that they stole from has history of evil and whatnot, and how they're bad guys and they need to save the day or shit. They're heroes now. That's kind of what this movie goes for. Instead of us focusing on them pulling off a heist that will benefit for them and make them success to their business as well as their evil deeds. No, it's about them making success and stopping actual evil. Yeah, that's what our focus is now. They're turning good. All of our beloved bad guys are turning good now. This is what our sequels are doing. We're getting sequels where all the bad guys that we've seen in these previous movies are becoming good. I feel like that's been a trend this year. I mean, we literally got a sequel to The Bad Guys. Remember that DreamWorks movie? Well, they were literally released a sequel where they're literally good now. So there you go. That's your motive. Anytime they want to make a sequel to something, focus on a bunch of evil folk, the sequel's gonna focus on them being good guys. That's the trend for this year. I don't know if I like it. But anyway, yeah, bad to do. And then some of the guards from that business show up to kill Morgan Freeman, so the rest of the team have to escape. And now they have to pull off this evil deed to expose her and win the day and save themselves because she tries to kill them. So naturally, they use their illusion skills, and even apparently we see that the Gen Z trio are able to have illusion skills of their own. Yeah, then now they're part of the team. Yeah, you thought they were just gonna be like side fans? No. They're part of the team now, unfortunately. This is our new team. These three kids who will remind you all what year this movie is made in. And yeah, so they, at one point, she traps them in a box where, the whole deal, I'm going to watch you die. So here's this slow falling sand that will slowly make you suffer, and I'm just going to leave. That's literally what she does. These villains have not learned anything these past few movies. They're stuck. How do they escape? Well, they see there's a water pipe, so they pour water down to try and break the glass. Then they just break the glass on their own. And then they escape. Then they find her. They expose her to their big fan base audience. They all see her the fraud she is. They literally tell her how they were able to pull off their illusion acts. Because that's a thing this movie does. I'll tell you more about that later. I have allergies this morning. I know picking my nose is a bad habit, but we all have bad habits. Let me stop getting off topic. Anyway, yeah, they expose her, they win the day. Now this Gen Z trio is part of the group, hooray, whatnot. And at the end, they go back to their old little machine thing. I forgot exactly what it's called, but they activate it and see that not Morgan Freeman, he's dead now. they killed him off. No, Mark Ruffalo, the secret FBI agent who was on their side the whole time in the first movie and then joined alongside in the second movie, is returns in this movie as a hologram talking to them. I guess we all know Mark did not feel comfortable making a third film because I guess he just has better things to do now. So yeah, he shows a hologram saying I applaud you all or whatever, all that prophecy shit. And then the movie, that's where a movie ends. So yeah, that's the story. Do I like it? I don't know if I can say I do. I mean, it's pasted fine, I guess. I mean, the pasting is about it's pretty similar to the other two films, but there's a lot of problems in its sort of type of I guess it more so has to do with the dialogue in this movie. That's probably where my biggest gripe comes. The dialogue. A lot of the lines, if not every line in this movie, wasn't really fun. It was mostly cringe dialogue, and it made parts of the story just not feel as fun. When I'm trying to get invested in the story, they say dumb, silly things, cringe. There's cringy dialogue to kind of ruin my excitement with the story. And on top of that, like I said, this we're now focused on them doing good deeds. I mean, Predator Badlands, the movie I reviewed recently, I'll agree, I did complain about that too, but I did say at least that movie had ideas to take that new approach. It was able to take that new approach in fun new ways and still show off the same cool action and exciting different elements, sort of, to keep the movie unwatchable. This movie just throws in a lot of cringy dialogue, and the way the story goes around, it just, I don't really know if them having this good motive of being heroes is really what I was hoping for. I like seeing them pull off all these crazy things, but they continue to acknowledge that we're doing this for the greater good, and it's like, just doesn't make it feel as fun. Can I just say that? Yeah. Want to talk more about that? I will. And that's where the problem comes in with how this movie has its two genres, thriller and crime. Now, let me talk about the crime aspect of this movie. It is honestly not the worst, I guess, but at the same time, I get it's kind of hard to say this was as great as the other two films because it's the crime is literally just on the other side now. But what I kind of have to go with is the fact that our team is now stealing things and pulling off crazy illusion stunts to save the world from business dangers. Or I guess they're kind of trying to keep their sense, stay successful, and expose the bad, sort of. I mean, I guess they does still keep the spirit of the other two films. I mean, because like, yeah, the other two films they were also focused on trying to expose people, but this time around, they do it in a way that isn't as fun when they don't really have too many bad things going for them. We're literally seeing them as good guys now, and it just isn't as fun. So the crime is them, stealing the diamond, but that's from they acknowledge that that's from people who don't shouldn't have it because they are a messed up group. So that kind of takes away the fun because we have to hate them. We hate them so much. Now I know, like I said, that is how the other two movies did it, but here they literally go back and forth too much with us hating them. This business of characters, like this woman who's the owner that they try to expose, she has no good lines in this movie that I can work with. Nothing that she says I really can follow. I cannot listen to a single line of dialogue that she has where I can be like, okay, I see what you're saying. No, no, it's not like it doesn't work. Every time she speaks, I'm just like, oh my god, somebody murder her, this bitch. I mean, I'll say it like that, but like she is just not fun to listen to. Nor is she really fun to spend an entire movie. I don't even know if it really was worth it exposing her when I still had to listen to all this no annoying stuff that she says. She just does not make the whole antagonizing arc fun. Because that's what the other two movies did. They made the part of the antagonist still fun to works aside. Like they're able to make us enjoy the stealers, the stealing type of group more than the people who are trying to be good guys. but we still were able to accept the good guys and still enjoy what they do. You know, their range of getting defeated by them is fun to watch. It really wasn't that fun to watch in this movie because she just every time they tried to make her suffer, she still came off as irritating. So that's kind of what makes it a problem for me. And I just feel like their whole crime act of illusions, uh, it wasn't that great in this movie. I mean, it still worked in a way, I guess. So you know what? I'm just gonna say the crime in this movie was mid. It wasn't good because, like I said, they're not really making of these sides as fun. But I mean, at least they still go with the direction that you can't really say is incredibly different from the other two films. Like you can still compare it really well to that, but at the same time, it's pretty easy to call it inferior. Now, what about the suspense, the thrills this movie gives us? That's kind of where this big story element comes in. This is a big story element this movie does a lot with, and I kind of have mixed feelings about. Explaining the magic. The first two movies showed us that these guys are illusionists, that they can pull out these crazy money schemes, do these crazy heists, all from the sake of them having the ability to show magic. They do magic shows to pull these off. And we just accept that because that's who they are. They're illusionists who are able to succeed in their magic acts. In this movie, they do that too, but pretty much every time they do it, they explain to us how they do it. The intro, for example, them doing all that stuff, they explain that they were holograms. This is all a projection. So yeah, that breaks the spell that magicians don't reveal their secrets. Well, that's what this movie does. It's revealing all of its secrets apparently. Or when they steal the diamond, everything that happened there. Well, they have to explain how they did all that. I mean, to be fair, that's probably the least um annoying part because I mean, I guess there were some elements in that whole heist that did seem too confusing even for illusionists, but still, man, you have to explain it all. We can't let you be too confused. And at the end, when they expose her to an entire crowd, how she got through that. She thought she was in a limo driving to her secret base, but no, they explained how they tricked her into showing how she got there. So yeah, there you go. That's how it happened. You don't have to act confused. There you go. I'm just saying. On the one hand, yeah, sure. I do talk about how explaining things would make um parts in the movie better. But in this sake, the problem is that we know that these aren't supposed to make sense. We just have to know that they're doing how they're doing as illusionists. The only things they would need to explain are things that um wouldn't make sense even as an illusionist. But these schemes are done because they have that cool skill. So I just feel like spending this time explaining it all in some weird spy way is a little annoying, I gotta say. And honestly, that's kind of the best word I can use to describe this movie. Annoying. It is pretty irritating. Um, Now You See Me, Now You Don't. Did I mention that? That's what the name of this movie is. Now You See Me, Now You Don't. I don't even think I ever said the title like that. That's one thing I heard a lot of people criticizing, that they called the third one that, when that seems like the second title. And I just thought of something. Maybe that would have been a good idea. Maybe call the second one Now You See Me, Now You Don't, and the third one Now You See Me, Now You Don't, but now you do again. That would have been pretty cool to see. Oh, and also I gotta mention, this movie does have one moment where someone literally name drops the film. Well, not the entire title for this one, but it does name drop the name of the movie, Now You See Me. Like at one point, the character says, "Now you see me," and we're supposed to be like, "Oh, he said it, he said it." You know, that's just something I hate movies doing nowadays because it's so forced. Can you just do it where it doesn't come out as forced? Can't you just say the line like you're actually writing a script? Like maybe come up with a script before you come up with the title of a movie. I feel like that's something a lot of people need to be doing. Making scripts before making the titles of the movie. That way, when they name drop it, it's more epic and it doesn't come off as too forced. Anyway, yeah, I didn't like this movie. 5 out of 10. Now, 5 out of 10 you may think is nice for someone who's saying he doesn't like this movie, but I'll give the movie this. It does still have those same elements that the other two films have, so that part I can praise. I can praise this movie for still being a Now You See Me type of film. But at the same time, I'm criticizing it for taking away a lot of the fun elements that made the other two movies pretty good films for me. And just having to sit through a lot of cringy dialogue. That's probably the best way to describe this movie. Tons and tons of cringy lines. Cringy dialogue is my saying for this film. Now you see me, now you don't equals cringe dialogue. Same can be said for a lot of movies nowadays that people hate. That's one thing we like to criticize them for, cringy dialogue. This is a movie that sucks. Why? Cringy dialogue. I mean, any bad movie you've seen, you can criticize for its bad dialogue. But honestly, that's just probably the biggest gripe I have with this film. Having to sit through it, I just had to get for all that dumb, forced, not really exciting or realistic lines. This whole script just felt childish and not really an exciting type of crime story. It's too comedic for a film that's we're trying to take seriously. I couldn't. So, I'm sorry. I guess this does explain why this trilogy never caught on. So, yeah, Now You See Me, the first movie is worth watching, but even as someone who liked the second film, you don't have to watch the sequels. You can just watch the first one. I mean, the first one is amazing in my opinion. It's a great film. It has a great setup. It's really fun. You can watch the second one if you want. I thought it was good, but honestly, maybe this does just work better if we kept it in its own wave. Because things like movies like this, there's always going to be a chance that making a sequel for will just completely reverse who our characters are meant to be. You have a movie focused on people who are supposed to be the bad guys, but are still likable. There's obviously going to be a chance at some point they'll make a sequel where they're now good guys. I feel like that's just going to be the case. So, yeah, man. Any movie that focuses on antagonists as the protagonists, maybe those don't really need sequels. Unless they are able to still keep them the way they are. Which unfortunately doesn't seem like it's always going to be the case.